Welcome back to Python, and we are today going to learn CRUD operations, which is create, retrieve, update and delete, and this is the first time we'll be getting connected with the database. So before we get connected with the database, let me give you overview of the database, right? What is the database? For example, once what we do is we go to any website, right? Or let's take an example of Facebook. Right, so let's take an example of Facebook. What do we do in the Facebook? First we register. Right, registration means we give Facebook our name, right, our email, right, and what we give is our contact number, about us, and remaining things. So now what happens to all the attributes? Now where do they go? Where does the name go? The name directly goes into the database, right? Email directly goes to the database. So now what we can do, we can send data to the database and we can retrieve data directly from the database. Let me give you another example in here. Now what is a database? Definition. All right, so now before giving any theoretical definition, what I do here, I am going to create just like this a database. And now what does database have? Database has tables, right? I'll just keep it like this, and tables have rows and columns. As simple as anything. So a database has tables and tables have rows and columns. So let me just put some proper arrows right here, so that now the database has a table has a row and a column. For example, we have a database, let's say about school, right? And this is the name of the database, right? So I'll write it down here. So database name. So first what you need to do is basically give name to the database, right? So in our case the database name is school, right? And what does database have? Database has table. So in our case, let us prepare a table, and the name of the table is going to be users. Now what does table have? Right, as I said, the table has rows and columns. So right, so let us name these columns. For example, we have a column known as ID, right? Okay, so then we have a column known as first name, and then we have a column known as last name, and then we have a column known as let's say about first name. We have ID, we have first name, and then we have last name, maybe we have address, we have phone number, we have gender, and so on and so forth. So it depends on what you want to have, right? Right, and now these the table here will have rows as well, not only the columns, but the table needs to have rows as well, right? All right, so for example, if I register now for the first user, so it's going to get the ID 1 or maybe any other ID. So I'll say Fahim, and then okay, I carry on and I say Khan. So I'll say residency. So right, and yeah, I forgot gender. I'll say male. Right. So now the more users come. So this is the first user. We'll get the first row. The second user will come and will get the second row. third user will come and get the third row. So this is how we save data in a database, right? Now, how many tables can a database have? As many as you want, right? Database can have as many tables as you want, and the table can have rows and columns, right? And now, once it is clear, right, because every time you do, even if you comment, so for example, there is a table known as comment. So there is a relationship between tables, right? Maybe you're using Facebook, right? Now comment has user ID, right? The ID of the user who has commented, right? And it may have a post ID. On which post have you commented and comment, and what actually have you commented? For example, user 001 has commented on 6777 post, and the comment is hey, hello. Alright, now where does it go? It goes to the table. Table name is comments, and the database contains many different tables. Tables contain rows and columns. What is the second row going to be? Second row, let's say about 003, user has come and he has commented on the same post, or maybe he can comment on a different post as well. What? Hello. Alright, 004 user will come, and this time it's going to comment on a different post, right? And they'll say hey yeah, right? So now once I said we are going to learn CRUD, right, operations using Python and MySQL data base. So what does it mean? All right, I say what is the complete definition of a database. So is there anyone who is basically going to give me the definition of database? Yeah, if not, then I'm going to give you the same. But yeah, like you clearly see, user 001 has commented this, and 3 and 4 has commented this, and user 004 has commented on a different post. So first you comment. Number one thing that we do is comment. Comment can be anything, right? It can be text, it can be picture, it can be video. And what happens at the back end? What is happening at the background? At background, what happens to the comment is saved inside a database table. Now, once you have to see, you don't have to only write, you have to visualize it, and you want others to see your comment, because visualization of the comment is what you want. So that comment has to be, right, retrieved from the database table. Number 3, if you have typed something wrong, so you have to edit, right? And for that you have to update the database table. And for example, you're not liking what you have commented, right? So you think now I need to delete what I have already commented. So what you are going to do in that case is you say delete, and for that what you do, you delete from the database table. All right, so you delete from the database table, you update the database table, you retrieve, and you create. So that's why we call them as CRUD operations. So CRUD operations are create, which is in our case comment, retrieve, get the comment from the database, because if you log off and you log in and the whole world, they see your comment, right? It's being retrieved from somewhere, and it's being retrieved from the database. And update, in order you have typed something wrong, you need to update it. And delete, already said that you can delete your comment, and this is the case with each and everything, right? So CRUD operations, for example, you're writing an email, right? The email goes, you compose, you create an email, and the one that you are sending email to basically retrieves the email, right? So database is everything. Now once we are talking of Python, we often talk of scientific Python. When we talk of scientific Python, we talk of data operations, database operations. So is Python possible without a database, right? Or is data analytics possible without database? No. And the answer is no. Neither data analytics nor any software development, no software can actually work without a database connection, right? And in our case, what are we going to use is MySQL. So we are going to use MySQL, right? Now, yeah, I know that you want a definition. So the definition is this. What is the definition of a database? Right? Database is a collection of information, right? That is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated, right? So we'll say computer. Please take a note of what I am writing here. So computer database contain aggregation of records, right, or files containing information, right? We save and index the information into the database. DB in short means database. We save an index means 1, 2, 3, 4. So we save the information into database tables. So now what are database tables, right? So database tables, so that something that I already said to you guys is basically, rows and columns, right? Okay, now database table. So I'll say that in relational database, a table is a set of data elements. So I'll say table is a set of data element, right? So with rows and columns. For example, now I want to see what user 001 is and what user 001 has commented, right? I'll say, right, select data from the database. So you want to get data from the database wherein user ID is equal to 001 and say please show me the data of 001. So I'll get hey, hello, right? So that's very simple. It's a collection of information, whatever information a website or any software, let's say Tally is the software, has a database. Banking softwares, they have database. I do not know, there has not been a single software developed for data manipulations without a database. And let's say a software may not exist, a web may not exist, any dynamic thing may not exist without a database. And same is the example that we are doing. We're hard coding. We have to register. We say, hey, type your first name, type your last name. Where does it go? So we'll practically see where the data goes. And what is the role of table in a database? As I said, a table is a structure that organizes information into rows and columns. I repeat, structure that organizes information into rows and columns. It can be used to both store and display data in a structured format. And databases store data in a table so that the information can be quickly accessed. Why do we store them in the database tables? So that we can quickly, we can quickly access the database, right? And what else? And now the database that we are going to using is MySQL. Why MySQL? Because we tend to create everything cloud-based now. We tend to create everything web-based now, right? So that is why we say we have to create, we have to use MySQL because it is the fastest database available web, right? So you can do web-based programming, and you can do client-based programming, and you can store data from your own computer into MySQL, and you can store data from the internet to your MySQL, right? So MySQL is going to be the best. And what is MySQL? It is the Relational Database Management System. So you're going to understand slowly and steadily what RDBMS is. That is relational DB. I said DB is basically database. So Relational Database Management System. So I want you to download an archive. So how do you get started? Right? Start, download, right? And then start installation, finish, and test, hip hip hooray, and also edit, right? For example, if there is anything that is not up to the mark, we can edit that as well. And to get started, we will download an archive of database. So download XAMPP. It contains PHP and everything. It also contains it also contains every single thing. It also contains FileZilla. You'll understand those things slowly and steadily. I don't want to create or I don't want to basically bother you. And it's an open source software, right? So what are we going to do? First, download. To download, we are going to download an open source archive, which is the XAMPP, XAMPP. And XAMPP has, right, visual version of MySQL, right? What is MySQL? SQL stands for, SQL is, we will write it down here. SQL is called as structured query, right? So I'm not going to show you everything regarding MySQL because your syllabus is a Python, right? It's not MySQLi, but I'm going to show you the important features and to get going and get started with database programming using Python. All right, what is SQL? Yes, it is structured query language. What is query language? Query is asking, hey database, give me that. Hey database, give me this. Right, so that's what we call as query. What do we do with the database? We query the database. Now you can see download XAMPP. It's right here. You can go and start downloading XAMPP right from the word go. Right. So after you download XAMPP, you can download the latest version of the available XAMPP. Right, whatever latest is available, please go and download it as soon as possible. And after that you have downloaded, my internet is working pretty fast today, so let me just, what's the time? All right, now XAMPP is opened. You can go to this site, you can Google and download 7.4.6 with PHP 7.4.6 version. So I'll click on download and the download process will start shortly, right? And after the download process has started, right, what you got to do is install XAMPP. So I already have it somewhere, so let me see. I have it somewhere already installed. So I have software, so I have this XAMPP somewhere. Okay, so I have it somewhere. Okay, I'll have to search for it. So I'll say XAMPP XAMPP because internet is creating, I don't know, problem. It's not working. Yeah, it has to be somewhere. I'm searching. Okay, by the time it searches, let's not waste the time. Let's understand a few more things about MySQL. We are not installing PHP and anything else. We're not installing XAMPP for the sake of XAMPP. We're just installing for the visualization because it creates that visualization environment. So that's what we require MySQL for. What is What is basically the database? I have already explained to you what database is. A database is actually everywhere, right? So by definition, a database is merely a structured collection of data. If someone asks you what is database, you get up and tell him that it is a structured collection of data which has tables, and tables have rows and columns. And what is MySQL? MySQL is a combination of My and SQL. MySQL is a database management system that allows you to manage a relational database. It is a It is a database management software, right? Or we can say that allows you to manage databases. That allows you to relational database. Now, what is relational database? The question arises here. You want to know what relational database is, right? So we create relations. A database which has relations. For example, user 001 has commented on post 009. So there's a relationship between post 009 and user 001. Right? So user ID, and even if you check, every post using Facebook has ID, every user of Facebook has a user ID, every comment has a comment ID, right? Everything in databases is recognized with IDs, right? So I'm not going to go too deep into the theoretical, that you are going to inshallah understand slowly and steadily. Yeah, now the XAMPP has been downloaded. It's here, right? So I just have to open the file location. Yeah, it's here. So now I'll go to XAMPP and I will just open the installation of XAMPP, right? So I suppose you have already downloaded XAMPP, and now what you are going to do is you're going to install. So even maybe, yeah, now you can clearly see, awesome, that the download has started. If it has not started, you can click here so that the download starts, right? And so I just clicked on the installation. What happened? I don't know. Computer, yeah, now we go to sourceforge.net, get the latest version, and yeah, now you have to get it from here for Windows, right? So it's here, installer.exe. So this is the latest version that we are interested in. Alright, so the latest version is here. Your download will start shortly. Let the download start. Internet is giving us some tough times in Srinagar. Not only in Srinagar, maybe in entire Kashmir, maybe in entire Jammu and Kashmir. And yeah, you can clearly see it is 149 MB of download. I have to give you ample amount of time so that you get up and download it. And in the meantime, I lost it. I searched for XAMPP and I lost it. Right? I don't know. Why do I lose? Why did I even lose what I searched for? But yeah, you can clearly see that the speed is not too well here, right? So I will not wait for the installation because I just searched and I lost what I searched. Maybe the installation process, yeah, now the installation has not even started yet. So we'll have to wait. We have no other option but to wait at least my installation. I will not be waiting for the download. I'll just cancel the download because I've already downloaded it. But yeah, you'll have to bear it and you'll have a very tough time downloading XAMPP. So 146 MB has to be downloaded. And what I can do, staying back home, wish you good luck and all the best for your download. So yeah, we have to download it, but you have to understand that we have no other option but to download a XAMPP, right? So that it contains, it's basically an archive which contains every single thing, right? But we're interested in only one thing, that is MySQL, all right? Okay, so let me basically run it once again. Thank you for downloading XAMPP, and we'll say you are welcome, all right? Okay, now let me go ahead and see what happened. Yeah, now you can clearly see my search is here. I'll click here. Alright, so Open the file location for God's sake. So I'll double click XAMPP. Now you'll get this, right? Click run. And your installation will begin. Is going to begin shortly, perhaps. Yeah, Bitnami. Now you have to just follow the instructions. Now you can see here MySQL has to be installed. I don't want to install FTP server. I don't want to install Mercury mail server. I don't want to install Tomcat. Perl and PHP can be installed. Yeah, I want to fake send email, not installed. And Weblyzer is not meant to be installed. PHP MyAdmin is very important to install this PHP MyAdmin. And I'll click on next. And I'll choose C:/XAMPP to install. And mine is already installed. Yours should go through and install XAMPP. The moment you have installed XAMPP, right, click next and follow the instructions. The moment you follow the instructions, XAMPP is going to get downloaded. And then once XAMPP is downloaded, you can search for XAMPP control panel. Now you will have this control panel available, right here. You can clearly see. Now, okay, mine is already open. Now you can clearly see that mine is started, stop. Yours is not going to be started at the first go. So what you got to do is, once XAMPP installation is finished, right, Apache, you start Apache, right, and perhaps I basically, yeah, you have to start Apache and you have to start MySQL. In order, I'll tell you there are many possibilities if your computer already has, I repeat, if your computer already has a server configured, you'll not be having this Apache running. For example, I'll go to this, I repeat, you have this config button just for the Apache right here. This config button is here. Click on HTTP config, Apache HTTPD config. I suppose I did not, okay, just a moment. Okay, so where is XAMPP? I just forgot something because I did not, Tomcat is not installed. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so now in your case, you go to HTTP config and expand this note. Or what you can search, Control F, search for port, and you can find this port right here. Now you can clearly see server name localhost 1020. So by default it's going to be 80. I repeat, by default port is going to be 80. So save this. You don't have to save it, you just have to check whether port 80 is selected or not. Cancel and try and start Apache. Right, so now it has started. Open the browser, type localhost, right, /php myadmin. I repeat, go to localhost and type php myadmin. Right, so mine is not working, so you can say the site cannot be reached. localhost php myadmin. So if I type only localhost, maybe it's not getting connected. So let me start. So I'll say php myadmin. Right, so it should come now. Let's wait for a second if it's not coming. So now if there's a case that your Apache is not getting started, and if there's a case localhost does not respond, in order to make it work, it happens only when your port 80 is already busy. Alright, if the port 80 is installed and is busy with some other software, so what you got to do is stop. I repeat, for the first time, you check as soon as installation is completed, start Apache, start MySQL, and go to localhost /php myadmin. If it doesn't work, go to config, Apache HTTPD config, and again search for localhost and click down. Now search for localhost. So the moment you are going to find localhost right here, port 80. Now that your port 80 is not working, your port 80 is not configured, or maybe your port 80 has clash. So what you got to do, change the port to 1020. I repeat, change the port. Only do this process, only do this step if port 80 is not responding. So I will say file, save. Now I have changed port 80 to 1020, and now I will start Apache again. Now status Apache running. So I will now say, hey, I have to run on port 1020. So I'll say localhost and then colon 1020, right? And I'll say enter. Now you can say XAMPP is working. So now instead of dashboard, I'll say, hey, port 1020, right? Localhost colon 1020/php my admin, right? So now you have PHP my admin in front of you. Now this is the visual environment for SQL. You can clearly see here structured query language of MySQL. Right, so I have to give you ample amount of time so that you download it and you get it working, right? And I would rather repeat for the final time. What you got to do is, right, after installation, after install, what you got to do is open XAMPP control panel, right? Start the service for my we can say MySQL and Apache, right? I repeat, start MySQL and Apache, right? Test local host, right? So you have to test using localhost/php my admin, right? If it does not work, right, and then what you got to do is edit, right? So if this does not work, right, so I will just type debugging here, right, changing the port, right? And now you can clearly see here, I will go to the config, click on the config, right, in line with Apache server, right, and go to httpd config, right, and search for localhost, right. I'll write it down here, right, click Apache httpd.config, right, find the following line, right, and by default it's going to be port 80 selected, right, change to 1020. What you got to do is change to 1020, and now you got to test, right, by using the URL localhost. I'll just increase it a bit, so we'll say local LOCAL localhost, and now you're targeting 1020 port. By default 80 port is not meant to be mentioned, because whenever you type anything, whosoever website, whatever website you access, right, is by default on port 80, right? So if port 80 is not working, we'll have to explicitly mention 1020 and /php my admin. So the moment you test this, you are going to get php my admin just like this, right? And today I'm only going to show, because I have to give you ample amount of time so that you can download and configure each and everything. But yeah, today I'm going to show you a few more things regarding this, right? So let me take a look at timings. Timing is already there, so we have, no, we'll not be able to complete it. I have to give you time. But yeah, the only test you have to run, go to SQL here. Let's say create database. So this is the command, create database. So this is the command here, create database go to SQL and say create database my Python DB. So now name of the database can be anything, but yeah, this is since you have to run the test, so go and type create database my Python DB. Click on go. Now you can get MySQL create database has done. It has been created, right? Now you can see from the left hand side my Python DB is created. You can clearly see here, right? So I'll click on my Python DB so you can clearly see my Python DB is created. No tables found in the database. So I have to give you good amount of time so that you can download and install it, right, and configure it and get it up and running, so that now we can start learning the structured query language, and we'll create tables, insert data to the tables, and then we'll create a connection between Python and database and start using the CRUD operations, right? So I would rather end my video today here and give you good amount of time for downloading and configuring. In order you're not able to download, in order you're not able to configure, please let me know, right? You can comment down in the comment section, or you can type in your group so that I can help you in installation, all right? And those who have installed, I repeat, I'll just write it down here. Those who install, type installed in the group, right? So those who have installed will type installed in the group, right? So respond installed. So I'll be coming up with the CRUD operation lecture. It's going to be very interesting. Believe me. Those who have learned 60 to 70% of what I have taught so far will find it very interesting. And this is now the advanced material going to get started, more advanced. It'll get advanced day by day. When it gets advanced day by day, it's going to get more lengthier day by day, right? Please be at home and practice home and try and utilize the time up to the extent possible under you. I wish you all the best. Good day. Bye-bye. Take care and install, and also reply with installed in the group. Wish you good luck. Bye-bye.